let's take a look at the Chapter 11 review worksheet. Remember, tomorrow is the Chapter 11 test, or it's actually just a quiz on 11.4 to 11.7. It's not the whole thing. There won't be surface area other than a sphere. Okay, so let's take a look at the review questions. The first asks you to find the volume of the solid and to shade what you're using as the base. So I'm going to use this as the base. So the volume is equal to the area of the base, 5 times 4 times the height, 8, which gives me a volume of 160 feet cubed. Number 2 asks you to find the volume. This time it's a cylinder. So to find the volume of a cylinder, I have to find the area of the base times the height. The base is pi r squared times the height. So in this case, that becomes 25 times 11 times pi, which gives me a volume of 275 pi units cubed. You can multiply that by pi if you want to and get 863.9 units cubed. I want you to round everything to the nearest tenth on the quiz tomorrow. Okay, number 3, find the volume of this pyramid. To find the volume of a pyramid, the formula is 1/3 the area of the base times the perpendicular height. If you notice, you're given here the slant height, and you have the length of the apothem in this case. It's half the length of the side, which is 5. So we need to find this perpendicular height, h. So I have h squared plus 5 squared equals 12 squared. H squared plus 25 equals 144. So h squared is equal to the square root of whatever that, I think that's 119. Yes. So h is equal to 10.9. So now the volume is equal to 1/3 the area of the base. The base is a square, which is 10 by 10, so the base is 100, times the perpendicular height, 10.9, which gives me a volume of 363.33, repeating, inches cubed. Number 4, you're asked to find the surface area and volume of the sphere. The surface area, we'll start with the surface area. Remember, the formula is 4 pi r squared. So the surface area is 4 times pi times 9 squared, and that will give me 324 centimeters pi centimeters cubed. Let me write that correctly. 324 pi centimeters squared. And again, if you want, you can multiply that and get that that's approximately 1,017.9 centimeters squared. Volume is 4/3 pi r cubed. So 4/3 times pi times the radius cubed. You multiply that, you should get 972 pi centimeters cubed. And again, if you want to, you can multiply by pi and you'll get 3,053.6 centimeters cubed. Next, you're asked to find the lateral area, surface area, and volume of the cone. you are given the perpendicular height, and if you want the lateral area, you're going to have this slant height L. So R squared plus H squared equals L squared. So that's 9 plus 16 equals L squared. 25 equals L squared. So L is equal to 5. The slant height is equal to 5. The lateral area of the cone is 1/2 the circumference 2 pi r times the slant height L. The 1/2 and the 2 cancel, so that becomes pi r L. So pi times the radius times the slant height, which is 5, should give me 15 pi. Then the surface area is the area of the base plus the lateral area. The base is a circle, so the formula for a circle is pi r squared. That's going to give me 9 pi plus the lateral area, which was 15 pi, or 24 pi. Finally, the volume. The volume is 1/3 the area of the base. We found the area of the base to be 9 pi. This time, it's times the perpendicular height, which is 4. So this should give me 12 pi units cubed. For surface area, it's units squared, and for lateral area, it's units squared. Okay, number 6 is a comparison of surface areas and volumes and similarity ratios. It says 2 similar prisms have surface areas of 66 and 264. So when you see the word area, you should remember that that's A squared over B squared. Since you can't really find a perfect square in 66, we're just going to take the square root of all of these terms. So when we take the square root of 66, we get A over B is equal to 8.1 over 16.2. Hopefully you recognize that that is then 1/2. Now you have the volume of a small prism and you want the volume of the larger prism. So that would be A cubed to B cubed. So the similarity ratio is 1:2. You'll cube both of those, set that equal to 36 over x. That gives you 1 over 8 equals 36 over x. Cross multiply, x is equal to 288. Okay, number 7, 2 similar cylinders have volumes of 75 pi and 600 pi respectively. Find the similarity ratio. You know that A cubed to B cubed is 75 pi over 600 pi. You can cancel the pi's because pi over pi is 1. Then take the cube root of each of those terms. The cube root is going to be A over B is equal to 4.2 over 8.4, which again reduces to 1/2. So the similarity ratio is 1/2. Okay, you have to remember similarity ratio, then area is similarity ratio squared, then volume is similarity ratio cubed. Number 8 is a composite figure. So when you look at the composite figure, you have to think what makes up the volume of this composite figure. And the volume of this solid is equal to the volume of the prism, that's the base, plus the volume of the pyramid, which is the top part. So we'll start out by finding the volume of the prism is equal to the area of the base times the height. Area of the base is 1/2 the apothem times the perimeter. We're given the apothem, so that means we're going to have to find a side length. This is a hexagon, so you can use either the trig ratio or the special right triangle, whichever you prefer. Here's my central angle. Remember, this is an equilateral triangle because these are all 60, 60, 60. The apothem bisects that, giving me a right triangle with an apothem of 5. And I want to find the side length so that I can find the perimeter. You can use tangent or special right triangles. It doesn't matter to me which. I'll just erase this and write that underneath. Okay, so tangent of 30 is equal to x over 5. So 5 times tangent of 30 gives you x. So x is equal to 2.89. Remember, x is only half the side length, so you have to double that to get the side length at 5.78. Then you'll have the perimeter, which is equal to 34.68. So now the volume of the prism, come down here, volume of that prism is equal to the area of the base, 34.68, times the height, which is 12. No, sorry, I didn't do that correctly. Let me back up. You have the perimeter. Now we have to find the area of the base. I skipped a step. So that's the area is equal to 1/2 the apothem times the perimeter. So 1/2 the apothem is 5. The perimeter is 34.68. That gives me an area of the base of 86.70. So now the volume of the prism is the area of the base, 86.7, times the height, which is 12. So I have the volume of the prism is 1040.4. Then I need to find the volume of the pyramid. So the volume of the pyramid is going to be equal to 1/3 the area of the base times the perpendicular height. So 1/3, we already have the area of the base, 86.7, times the height. Again, I'm given the slant height. I need the perpendicular height. So again, I have this triangle in the center. It's a right triangle. And if you notice, it's the same numbers as before, so we know that this height is 10.9. You can use the Pythagorean theorem and verify that. So the height is 10.9. So I will have 315.01 units cubed for the volume of the pyramid. So now the volume of the solid is equal to 1040.4 plus 315.01, which is 1355.41. That's the volume of the solid units cubed. One more. So for number 9, again, you're asked to find the surface area of this and the volume of this cylinder with half a sphere on top. So the surface area is going to be equal to the area of the base plus the lateral area plus 1/2 the sphere. So when we're looking at the base is a circle, that's going to give me pi r squared, so pi times 4 squared, plus the lateral area. which is the circumference times the height, 2 pi r h, then plus the area of the sphere, which is 1/2 4 pi r squared. That's going to give me, that should be r squared. That's going to give me 16 pi plus 112 pi plus 32 pi for a total surface area of 160 pi units squared. Volume is going to be equal to the volume of the cylinder plus the volume of half a sphere. So the volume of the cylinder is the area of the base, pi r squared times the height. Then the volume of the sphere is going to be 1/2 4/3 pi r cubed. So my radius is 4, so that's going to give me 16 pi times the height 14 plus 1/2 of 4/3 pi times the radius cubed, which is 64. So I'm going to get 224 pi plus 42 2/3 pi for a volume of 266 2/3 pi units cubed. And that's the end of the review sheet. Remember, you do get to use your note packets on the quiz tomorrow, so please remember to bring those. Have a nice evening.